any of you remember this song? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Okay.
Hide it under a bushel. No! I used to love shouting the word no in Sunday school. That was the best part. And don't let Satan it out. Well, we all sang that song when we were little, or most of us did. But it wasn't until I read today's gospel that it really occurred to me, and I really understood what that simple song means. In today's gospel, Jesus is saying to the disciples, I am not going to leave you abandoned. Show your love to the world, and by that you will show that you are followers of me. Just before this passage, there had been a glorious entry into Jerusalem. We all know the story. The palms were laid, people were shouting, Hosanna in the highest. They were calling him the King of Israel. They were hoping that he was going to come and save them from the Romans. And palms were laid, and Jesus rode in on a donkey. But then this scene occurs when the Passover, just after the Passover meal has occurred, where Jesus says, take my body, and take this bread, this is my body, and take this wine, and this is my blood. And in this scene, Jesus knows. He knows what's going to happen. He knows that he is going to be crucified. He knows that he's going to die, and he knows that he's going to be buried. But the disciples knew none of this. So there they are in the room with the last, what we call as the Last Supper. They knew it as the Passover meal. It's the Passover Seder. And Jesus tries to tell them what is going to happen. Just as a loving parent tries to tell his or her children what is going to happen, that they will be with them, and tries to comfort them, Jesus is beginning his comfort to us. This is sometimes known as the last farewell, the last discourse, in which Jesus desperately tries to sum it all up. He wants the disciples to get it. He's been trying to say this over and over and over, but the disciples just don't seem to get it. And even after he says all this, they desert him on the cross. Peter runs away, and not only does he run away, but he denies Jesus 3 times. The disciples are so human. They make me feel so much better. But they just don't get it. And Jesus is saying to them, look, I have told you that I will not leave you orphaned. I mean, he knows that Judas is going to betray him. He knows about what's going to happen. He knows that he's going to be crucified. He knows that the disciples are going to desert him. But he loves them anyway. He loves them anyway so much that he says to them, I am not going to leave you deserted. I will not leave you orphaned. And he wants to prepare them for what's happening. I mean, can you really imagine what the disciples went through from Thursday, well, from Sunday, really, Palm Sunday until the following Easter Sunday, and then afterward? First, Jesus comes in riding on a donkey like a king, and they think, oh, good, we're going to get rid of the Romans. But then, wait, he's arrested, and they get scared and they scatter. And then he's crucified, and the worst thing of all happens, he's killed. He dies on the cross. They feel completely bereft, completely alone. They feel abandoned and discouraged. Many of us can think of times we've had in life where we felt abandoned and discouraged, as if there's no hope. Here they have been hoping that Jesus was the person they were waiting for, and then he just disappears. But wait, then there's the Easter, and he reappears. And they think, oh, good, he's back. He's going to be with us. Oh, gosh, we don't have to worry. He's going to be here with us. But then he ascends into heaven. So here they are going through it, and they feel abandoned again. And Jesus knows all this is going to happen. And he wants to prepare them for this. So Jesus begins to say to them, I will not leave you orphaned. I think that's quite a powerful statement. I am coming to you. In a little while, the world will no longer see me, but you will see me. Because I live, you will also live. Let's recall that Jesus never intended to create a kingdom on earth. Even when Pilate asked him, are you king of the Jews? Jesus said, you say I am. He had no intention of staying on earth and creating some little fiefdom. He refused to identify himself as a king. But Jesus knows that he doesn't have much longer with the disciples and that he won't be physically present. Even though he won't be physically present, he promises to send an advocate to them. A counselor, someone who will advocate for us, someone who will continue his work of love and truth, because Jesus is love and truth. The Holy Spirit will be Jesus' and God's light, love, and light in the world. So Jesus answers the question, can the disciples still love him after he's gone? He also answers the question, can we still love Jesus even though we've never seen him? And the answer that Jesus gives us is yes, but not by hiding our light under a bushel, not by staying cloistered in a church, in a building, not by sharing it privately. Jesus wants it to share his love and light to the world. Take it out into the community. He wants us to take it out and show others God's love. People will only know if we are followers of Jesus if we show God's love. What Jesus is telling us here is, if you are followers of mine, keep the commandments. And what are those commandments? There are only two that Jesus emphasizes. To love God and to love others as God has loved us. That's a little unusual wording. Usually we hear love others as our neighbor, love our neighbor as we love ourselves. But John phrases it a little bit differently. John says, love others as Jesus has loved us. Wow. Can we really do that? I don't really feel like I can love others the way Jesus loved us. I mean, he came and sacrificed his life for us, and then rose after the dead, after he resurrected. I mean, I love you all, but I don't know that I would sacrifice my life for you all. You know, I mean, but when Jesus tried to say to them, you will show me that you are truly my followers when you move outside, when you show the world, when you demonstrate your love. And so Jesus will know that we are his followers when we move outside, when we show the world Jesus' love and light. And it's only when we do that that we can be identified as followers of Jesus. And we will have an advocate with us. Remember, Jesus said, I won't leave you orphaned. I'm going to send you an advocate. That advocate loves and comforts us, and it empowers us to go into the world to show that love. We can be confident that advocate is always with us, whether we're inside this building or whether we're at the 7-Eleven. That advocate will never leave us and is always with us, supporting us and urging us on to show our love and light. But how do we carry Jesus' love into the community? It sounds easy, but it seems to me the only way I can do it is to love God and to love others and to love ourselves and love others as God has loved us. God's dream is that we work toward a community of love in which we are reconciled and in communion with God and with each other and with all creation. Bishop Curry was at the Diocesan Convention last Friday, and he gave a tent, some of us went to it, a tent revival sermon that was amazing. And in that sermon, Bishop Curry talks about the Jesus movement. And in the Jesus movement is a movement that's been adopted by the Episcopal Church. And the way he introduced it, he said, there was an, I don't know if you all remember the evangelist Billy Sunday. He once came to an Episcopal church and sat down and looked at the Book of Common Prayer and started leafing through it. And he said, God help the devil if the Episcopalians ever wake up. God help the devil if the Episcopalians ever wake up. The Jesus movement is about waking us up, about loving others. If you go to the diocesan website, you'll see a picture of Bishop Curry, he's our presiding bishop, and talking about what the Jesus movement is. He talks about evangelism, sharing God's love and light with the world, with each other. Reconciliation, through racial reconciliation, to tell the truth about church and race, and rewrite the narrative and form Episcopalians as reconcilers, and repair and restore institutions and society. And then there's creative creation care, caring for our earth. So Bishop Curry is calling us to join the Jesus movement. And I think we do that, we do some of that already, but we do it in a rather big way with loaves and fishes. That's a wonderful thing. By doing loaves and fishes, we are joining the Jesus movement and showing our love and Jesus' love and light to the world. Or in the nursing home ministry. Or in our own individual ways, we show it all the time. There's an old song that we used to sing. There is a balm in Gilead. And it goes like this. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. If you cannot preach like Peter, if you cannot pray like Paul, you can tell the love of Jesus and say, He died for all. Archbishop Desmond Tutu wrote, God sent us here to help God realize God's dream of a new kind of society. Gently, caring, compassionate, sharing. When I am lifted up from the earth, I will draw all people to myself. There are no outsiders or aliens. All are insiders. All belong. Black and white, rich and poor, young and old, male and female, educated, uneducated, gay, straight, all belong in this family of God, this human family, the rainbow people of God. And God has no one but you to help God realize God's dream. But are we doing this as a society? I mean, we're doing this, many of us individually, but what do we hear almost monthly, it seems? We hear about the killing of African American males and Hispanic males. About the killing of Amadou Diallo, Manuel Loggins Jr., Ronald Madison, Kendra James, Sean Bell, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, and in Baltimore, Freddie Gray. It's funny, when I give them names, to me, it just makes it all more real. A Minnesota officer fatally shot a man identified by relatives as a 32-year-old Philandro Castillo while he was in a car with a woman and a child at Falcon Heights, a St. Paul suburb. The aftermath of the shooting was streamed live in a widely shared Facebook video, which shows a woman in a vehicle with a man whose shirt appears to be soaked in blood, telling the camera, Police just shot my boyfriend for no apparent reason. Or we can talk about the imprisoning of African American males. This is big business these days. Many of these jails are privatized. They make profits off of getting males, African American males, off the street and imprisoning them. What are we doing? We're wasting a group of people at their age when they could blossom and become part of society. What about job training? What about bringing them into society, showing them love, and bringing them in as our community and making them part of us? Congress once again voted down job training. It's incomprehensible to me how that shows God's love. And it's incomprehensible to me how a Christian can do that and still show Jesus' love, or our love for the community. I think that Jesus intends us to actively love one another. Isn't that what he did? Our actions don't have to be big actions. They can be little, small things, opening a door for someone, or helping them across the street, or helping them down a set of steps. A simple kind of kindness is active kindness. When we actively love, we are living Jesus' commandment. Jesus urges us to show our love for him by loving others and showing that we are followers of Jesus. Let's join the Jesus movement. Let's let our love shine every day and not hide it under a bushel. So I invite you to sing with me, and I'll start it higher this time. Can you give me a note?